Alright, so let's get the fittings mounted on the valve. It's the valve body number. Hydraulic valve. Okay, that plug is called out, necessary. Now, the only thing we need to do here is mount the hydraulic fittings. Crack them loose so they're finger tight. Okay. Each fitting is equipped with a O-ring right here. It will seal on this surface. Seems like videos that I've watched on this, there seems to be a variety of the way they come in. The instructions say to install this plug, but obviously it's in place. Now normally I would say to put some hydraulic oil on this O-ring, but this valve is soaked with oil, so hopefully it's not a sign that it was used and it was a problem. We'll find out. This 7/8 socket. Once they're on, mounted up, I will put a wrench to these one more time. Okay. Now, obviously this is going to mount to the tractor. And that is accomplished by using these. These may look like they're plastic, but they're actually a anodized aluminum bracket. There are two of them. They will go through here like this. I'm just putting these on finger tight. They'll be tightened down once they're on the tractor in the correct location. They also supply these magnetic strips. And the idea behind them is it helps prevent the tractor from getting scratched up. So they want you to attach these here. One on this side and then one on the other bracket that mounts up on the bucket area. So in order to do that, I've got to clean this off. A little hand sanitizer will probably do the trick. Dry now. There's a crack and peel type strip on the back here. And I'm sure I can't get off. There we go. There it is. And that should be fine. Again, it's only to keep your tractor from getting scratched up. So once this is clamped on, that's not going anywhere. Alrighty. So also in this package you have your hydraulic fittings that will be used to attach your grapple or whatever hydraulic device you're mounting up front. And those will be mounted through here, which you separate this. Be one on each side. That will be clamped on up front of your tractor. And then when you're ready to put your implement on, you pull the plugs, plug her in, and you should be good to go. Alrighty, so let's keep all this stuff aside here, somewhat organized. I'm going to hang on to these caps for now, just in case there's an issue with the valve and I need to return it. And obviously the next step is to get the tractor over here and get this at least roughed in. And then we'll start laying out some hydraulic hoses. And yeah, see where that takes us. Now this kit I'm installing is not built for this tractor. This is an older tractor. I bought this in 2007 from a John Deere dealership in Vermont. It's a 2520 and the loader is a 200 CX, which appears to be similar to the H200. I'm going to find out soon. I'm going to cut off all these ties. And this is the tip cylinder here. And those are your two top lines coming back. So we'll be breaking the fittings off of here and mounting the valve down there. And one other thing that's a lot different, and hopefully my lines are long enough, if not I'll have to make custom ones. The tractor they sold this kit for has their hydraulics coming out here for the bucket. These older ones have it coming out here. So, I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. I may have to make longer lines, or maybe I can just utilize the current lines that are on here. We'll see. We'll get it mounted and see what fits and what doesn't fit. Okay, so these nuts here and their bolts are 1/2 inch. Let me get those tie wraps first. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect these top lines, at least crack them loose. And I like the way that's in there. I may have to move these to this side. Now this does rotate, and this is part of your kickstand. So, let's see how that valve body would get in there. That appears to be the place right there. But the kickstand does rotate, but I believe it rotates upward because it is in the up position now. So when I lower it down, it should go this way. So I'm going to maybe not permanently mount this. I may not even be able to. These bolts don't look large enough for this. Dang, that's a problem. Probably can get longer bolts. But would it mount up here? I guess that's a possibility. At least something to look at for right now. Looks kind of clean there. Okay, so she's not bolted tight, she's just kind of snugged up there. That might be the spot for it. Obviously I need to get these lines. These will be my supply lines, which I'll probably reuse because, like I said, my pipes come out here, fittings come out here, where the new ones come out here, and they give you short lines. So I don't think it will make it. That's all right. I'll reuse the original lines. I'm going to send these two back to the valve. There'll be supply. And then I need to figure out who's who on the ports. Actually, I think these go to the remote. Pump comes in, standard lines come out. But we'll look at the prints on that, make sure we got that correct. Yeah, I think these original lines will work fine. They're already in place. And yeah. And then I'll run some short lines from here to whatever nipple they belong to. And then run the long lines down front. And that bracket will mount here. And this is my homemade grapple. Still working on it. But she's functional at this point. This is all stuff I had laying around. Cylinder. This is actually a 3-point hitch. Hole that I had, I cut off. Mounted some tabs on here. It's on one of my other videos. And then I got to get some sort of a claw or something in there. So when this comes down, it will hold the log to the forks. But I think I can construct something out of these big pieces I have. Okay, we reviewed the schematics. This is the auxiliary, so this will run up front, just behind the bucket. And we're going to run our pump lines in here, and then the exit side will be connected to these two ports. So, what I'm going to do first is, I'm going to break these two off and see how they'll go in here. See how the fit is. See how they'll go in here. See how that fit is. I may need to use 90s, but alrighty. So we got these hoses on. These come from the front, loop around, and these go to my tilt cylinder, which is here. What I need to do now is pop these hard lines back in. Okay. I have to take the bolt out of that top one, bottom one. There we go. Here's the bottom one. Three-eighths. There it is. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So that's on there. These lines are a little twisted up here, but they got bent pretty bad when we got tangled in some brush. So we'll keep an eye on those and tie wrap them. Do what we gotta do. So that's connected. Now we need to do supply to the cylinder. And that is going to happen with these two lines, hopefully. Okay. Alrighty. Quarter. Okay. All right. So now these hoses will come down here, turn around and go in there. Alrighty. And then from there, go to our hydraulic fitting. Keep going yellow. Alrighty, so now that one's going to go right there. We'll plug it in and then tighten these up. 3/4. Perfect. There's one. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so we got these lines on. These come from the tractor, from actually the shifter, and these two go to the cylinders. Now I need to put two on here that are going to go to the new valve. So let's get that done. All right, let's make sure these are snug. These are fine. Beauty. Alrighty. This is a 3/4 inch wrench. Okay, so we'll leave those loose for now. Now we've got to run these hoses up to the front. Okay. Not sure exactly where I'm going to mount the plug-in unit. I think what I'll do first is tie wrap these hoses up so they don't get damaged, and to make sure they clear the bucket leveling thing. Yeah, so let me throw some tie wraps on there, and there's plenty of tie wraps if I need to change that out. Alright, a few things we're going to do with this. One is to get those into here. Okay. Need to get these in here. Okay. Get that separated. So obviously what I need to do is get my hydraulic lines on before I clamp these in. Not a big deal. Alrighty. So I'm going to take those off, push them through. Put your quick and couplers on. Okay, 13/16 and something a little smaller. Okay. Now, slide these back on. There is a little groove here. It lines up with one of the teeth just inside. Kind of a neat little thing they did. I'm going to tighten this down, then I need to go in and get the magnet piece. Get it now. Alrighty. Alright, so we need to rotate this up. Come on, rotate around with me. There we go. What I've got to do is play around with these lines a little bit. Get them set a little bit nicer than what they are. Now we know one thing. The tie wraps they supply are terrible. It makes them terrible, they just break. That's no good. The pawl broke out of the center. Just cheap. Okay, now that we've got those lines the way we want them, I can tighten these two up and just snug up the coupling here. Check these. Everybody's tight. I think I'm going to take that one off of there. I'm not even sure where I picked this up. That should work, I think. Yeah, I've had this wrap on the shelf now for a year or two. I knew someday I'd find a use for it. Put a few ties on it just to make sure she stays on. Let's bring the boom up and down, make sure she's not rubbing. May have to tie them back a little bit. Okay, today's final part of hitching up the remote is to hitch up the electrical. We have the handle. Seems to be very well built, kind of stout. I need to remove this ball. Which unscrews. Some easier than others, I understand. So this is different. The newer models, this is threaded. And this little guy gets threaded onto it. So, because she is not threaded, and I do need to mount that, I have a few options. See if I can run a die over this and hitch this up, or just line it up on top and put a little weld underneath. I'm going to have to noodle on that for a moment, because all that piece does is thread onto here. So as long as I get this on here, I should be in good shape. A little bit disappointing that this isn't threaded, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, so what we found out is basically a 1/2 inch, so we're tapping at 1/2-13. Okay, came out kind of nice. Brush them off. Now we got to do the nut. Okay, so basically what I need to do is drill this hole out and then tap it. What I need to do now is look up the drill size for a 1/2-13 tap. So it recommends using a 27/64 of an inch drill bit or a .421. This is a .427. It's okay. I think that's going to be fine. I would normally use my drill press, but it's down. The arm that tensions the belts is bad. Alrighty, hole is in. Again, this would have been better with the drill press or a Bridgeport. This seems to be working fine. Alright, we'll blow that out and see how we did. Threads look pretty good. There we go. Alright. We'll just lock that on there. Won't even need a lock nut. Not too bad. Now this should thread right on. This position doesn't work out. I've got some half 13 nuts in there. I can just use one of those to develop it. It's going to be just fine. Yeah, so if this didn't work out and be snug, I would just put a half 13 nut on there. Okay, so the next step now is to run the wiring down. One thing I do need to keep in mind is this needs to plug into the plug that goes into there. So however I route this, I need to make sure that I have enough wire. I think what I'll do first is just to mock this up. Let's mount this. See how that wire is going to run. Because when I take this off, I need to be able to unplug that. So obviously this needs to be convenient. So these panels here we've got loosened up. We can run the wires around. This one I thought I could really pop out of there, but it's really not going anywhere without this removed, and this is something I don't want to deal with right now, I don't believe. Alright, so we know that general spot. Now let's see if we can get this wire run across the other side. Alrighty. Okay, so we got this wire we're running across to the other side to the fuse box. Clamp that up with some tie wraps. Alright, so we're going to have to find a way to wrap that back there somehow. That's not ideal, but that will do for now. Okay, so we have the plug in here. Still need to put the seal on and put the screw in. Tie wrap down here, the wire runs around, plugs in here. Now that's critical because when you do take off the bucket, you need to unplug this. And of course that wire runs around, runs up the cable, up the shaft to the hand control. So now I run the power wire across to the other side here. You can see that. You need to get it from the other side. Okay, so here's your fuse box. Here's the wire I ran from the other side. And with that, we'll tie wrap that onto there. A bit of a rainy day here today. So on this particular model, fuses are laid out. This fuse here, the second one down, is your fuse that turns on when you turn the key on, and that's kind of critical because you want no power to the you don't want any power to the valve on the other side or the switch when the power's off, because you don't want to come back to a dead battery. So that being said, they supplied us with this little guy. And what this is going to do, it's going to tie into the red wire here, and it's going to take the place of this fuse. But you noticed on here, there are 2 ports for fuses. You need 2 fuses to operate this. The top one is your fuse to your solenoid on the other side, and the bottom one is that fuse. So let's just put this one in the bottom for now. They're both 10 amp fuses. Handy dandy fuse puller. Put that fuse in this spot. So now you have 2 10 amp fuses, and then this will plug into here. What I'll probably do is, yeah, I guess I'll leave it that way. So that plugs into there, just to make sure it works. Let's see if she starts. Alrighty, she's got power. If I remove that, nothing. So that's operating correctly. Fuse puller back. This wire here. We'll split them apart. What we'll probably do is just cut it off right about there. Strip these wires back, hopefully. There we go. Let me get my wire crimper, and we'll get that bad boy on. Alrighty. Plug that in here. We'll get the wires all gathered up nice. Make sure she's all the way in. There's a blue connector. We use the middle. There we go. She's pretty taut on there. And this here, what we're going to do here is we're going to connect for the ground. Remove this nut. This is all chassis ground. And we'll get a connector for that. Alright, perfect. that wire back. There we go. Put this nice crimp on. There we go. And again, it's another blue one. Nice crimp there. Connect the ground up. Put the nut back on. Put it down a little bit. Okay. Now we can put this little cover back on. There are some reliefs on the cover for wire exits. It's going to work. Let me try it. There you go. Okay. Turn the key on. She has power. Nice. I'm going to take this out for a little run, see what it does. I am sure I will be adding some more bars to it, but for now, See if we can move this log over. Nice.